All right, we're just gonna get right into it though. But if you're looking at MBIS, okay, if you like MBIS, like I said, you need it to hold above 8064, or the level that we have right here. Okay, and this is an AI infrastructure stock. So and we like, if you follow the Twitter, or if you've been following, for the past couple weeks, we've been saying like this needs to hold above 103. Okay, if it can't hold above, which it never did, it kept rejecting for the past 2 weeks. This is the P level, the party starts level. The party never started. Okay, so we had these levels drawn up, and we foresaw it, foreseen it coming to the downside. Now it needs to hold above $80, where you see it right now. But what I was saying is, this you need above 85. It has earnings in 8 days. There's too many things happening to be focused on this. Now, I do think this stock, MBIS, an AI infrastructure stock, can have some potential, but that's not even where the money is rotating into right now, right? Like, high risk assets are it's kind of like you're getting a D risk, and money is flowing into different kinds of stocks right now. So this isn't even where the money's headed. So really, until the money's headed back in here, until it's obvious, which I don't think it's going to be like that for just a little bit, maybe February, just to get all the people that were trying to, think all this stuff is going to go up, lightning quick, right? In a bull market, we always think stuff is just going to go up lightning quick, right? Or we think those next legs are just going to be lightning quick, but because it did happen right here, right? But what you didn't know is that MBIS was literally from February 2022, or from October 2024 until March 2025. What is that? 5 6 months. It was literally just in a consolidation period. Okay, it was literally just sitting right here doing this, and then you started getting that monster move. So right now, money's clearly rotating into different sectors, which we're going to talk about. Okay, now if you don't know these sectors, you want to make sure you're paying attention and tuned in. If you're in the Discord, you should be aware of what's happening. And there's so many great plays, but only for those that are doing a little bit of research. Like, you can't just come in here and think NBIS is gonna do what it did, back in high risk asset territory, which the market's not done. Like, I don't think NBIS is done at all. By the way, I still think NBIS can go back to all time highs, but that's just not where the market is at right now. Okay, so we're gonna be looking at where the market is at. Um, what stocks like BMNR is cooked. Yeah, it's cooked right now. Right, money, rotated out of there. But MSTR, same thing. So I'm not really gonna focus on those. But I do want, like, CBX. Let's look at CBX. Do not look at PayPal. Oh yeah, we knew that. PayPal is garbage. Okay, so this is a good example. Let me show you guys something. This is a good example. And I was actually bearish on oil, maybe at like 152, until we had the Venezuelan and Iran and stuff like that happening, and then it's like, oh yeah, this is obvious now. This is obvious, meaning what we're gonna end up getting is to me, I'm gonna show you guys something very cool here. Is money rotating, what we saw from gold and silver. I think it's going to head into energy and dividends, kind of like what we're seeing right now. And then it's going to head back into, maybe Mag 7, or, maybe some small cap stuff. And then we're going to get that crypto wave. Okay, so I don't think crypto's just yet. I think crypto is going to sit here and consolidate for maybe a little bit longer. But there's a lot of opportunities to make money on stuff like CVX, or just energy in general. And I'm going to show you something very cool here. If you look at CVX, which this is about to go through literally a 4 year breakout period. Okay, a 4 year, from April 2022 all the way until February 2026. All it's been doing is sitting here and consolidating inside of this huge range. And now you have Trump literally begging people. I would say begging people to get into some energy type of stocks, or maybe some oil type of stocks, based off of what's happening with Iran, based off what happened in Venezuela. Okay, so I think this stuff just looks prime time. If you look at gold, okay, take a mental screenshot of this. If you just look at this breakout that's happening, and then you go look at gold, right? I can make the case that this was the same situation that was happening right here, right? The same situation where you had the stocks to focus on, I believe, are the stocks that are having these multi-year breakout periods. Okay, this is a 2022 or 2020 all the way until 2024, and then you started getting this massive breakout. Okay, and then it really never stopped after. So if you look at CVX, now will it be that explosive? I don't know, but what I do know is that this looks absolutely incredible. It looks like it's ready to break out. I really like CVX, and I also, XLE, same thing. XLE, same thing. These are going through multi-year breakouts. Like this dates back to 2008, and it's breaking out from 2008. So do I think it's gonna stop right here? No, I think it's gonna continue. I think this is just gonna get more explosive. Okay, so these type of energy stocks, even small cap energy stocks. Okay, after I'm done talking about these energy stocks, which I just think look good. These just look good. They could go down. Who knows? I'm making my money on NEE. I'm making my money on Run. I'm making my money before it goes down. I still think it's an early type of trade because so many people are focused on, the irons still, right? They're still focused on iron, still focused on, some of the other stocks that, and we told you to short this, but they're still focused on that, and it's still early to get into some of these small cap energy stocks. Okay, this is a $4.8 billion market cap stock, and if you look at the weekly, this thing has been consolidating since October 2025, and it looks like it's finally ready to break out. Okay, you got first target 26. In the Discord, you should be into this. This looks very, very promising. It looks promising. Like it's just a good risk to reward setup. Okay, even the monthly looks great, and even if you look at what happened back in 2020, I mean, this is no stranger to these big pumps. All right. Anyways, let's move on. Let's look at some different stocks. I do like the energy trade a whole lot. Okay, NEE is another one. Right? These just look good. They're going through multi-year breakout periods. Okay, multi-year breakout periods and doing all the strong momentum retest, everything looks good. All right, you want to look at Tesla, OKLO, sky is falling. Yeah, OKLO, definitely the sky is falling. These are the stocks that are in the high risk assets. Okay, and I actually like OKLO right here. I'm not gonna lie, but these are the stocks that are in the high risk assets, and you really don't want the Qs to be doing what it's doing right here. If you want NBIS and OKLO and IREN and all these higher risk asset stocks to be doing what they previously did, right? But don't have fear though. Don't have fear. Like this actually looks like it. Like if I'm looking at the Qs, this is the bounce area for it. Okay, let me just look at the Qs really quick. Right, this is the bounce area for it based on the fibs from right here. Okay, that's why we bounced decently today. Right, it bounced at 601, 601.77 or 602. So as long as you keep getting a bounce right there, as long as it keeps holding above there, you wanna buy that bounce. Okay, you should have bought that bounce. But if it goes below there, okay, you have a steep drop, and this is what we were saying. Even back, like if you go look at the Twitter, this is the blueprint was yesterday. And these you didn't have to make this complicated, okay? You only had to watch 3 levels for the downside, okay? You had 613. As soon as it broke below 613, 614, it was going to 602. Okay? As soon as it went to if it breaks below 602, it's going to 589, okay? So don't make it hard. Like if it starts breaking below those levels, then get out. And you're also getting bounces at those levels, okay? So just pay attention to those few levels. Like you don't need to do much, okay? But make no mistake, okay? Make no mistake. Like I told you guys, and this is bigger picture. I'm not telling you to go out tomorrow and go buy some calls, okay? I'm not telling you to go out tomorrow and get some weekly calls because we're going to all-time highs. What I'm saying is the market is not finished, okay? I think there's a lot of bullish news on the back burner, and I think smart money, big money is going to load up on this dip like they've done when I told you it was bullish here, told you it was bullish again here, told you it was bullish again for the tariff news. I'm going to tell you it's bullish again. Maybe it retests 589. We have to see 602 hold, okay? We got to see how this weekly closes, okay? We got to get a weekly close above 614. We got to get, there's some levels to make it back bullish. But I will say there's amazing stocks in general, okay? My boy Evan's in here. What's up, Evan? Boy Canadian's in here. IWM. Let's look at IWM. Let's look at IWM, okay? And again, IWM was a very, very bullish one. It's actually holding up way better than the Qs, okay? And this is just obvious, okay? This is what if you can't see the money rotation happening in broad daylight, you're not looking. Like you have a blindfold on. Take your blindfold on, and you can clearly see the money rotation that is happening in the market. Okay, and Nvidia might have topped out, but the money's gonna rotate. You understand? PLTR, they're taking that money out and putting it into something. They're taking that money out of silver and putting it into something. They're taking that money out of some Mag 7 stocks and putting it into something. What are they putting it into, okay? What are they putting it into? If you look at small caps have held up relatively well considering what has been happening. And if you look at the levels that we had, like the last time we went live, nothing has really changed for it, okay? So the two main levels to watch is 256 and 259. And on Monday, we bounced from the 256 level. We went live Sunday, told you it was going to get there. And now it's bouncing from the 259 level. So as long as it can stay above these two levels, it's ready for a new all-time high. IWM is going to perform very, very well this year. I think it could get to 300 plus, okay? But in due time, obviously, right? But these are the two main levels that I'd be paying attention to. If these two levels can't hold, it's going to 245, unfortunately, okay? But that's not really unfortunate. There'll be so many great dip buys, right? So many great opportunities when this gets to 245 because the market is not done. It is not done. It might be done. No, I'm just like, I don't know. Look, man, I don't know. I'm just a random guy at the end of the day, okay? I don't know. But what I do know is that I have been spot on like every single major dip we've had, all right? So my price target on the IWM is to 293. I'm not changing it until it gets there. We'll rediscuss, etc. But these are the two levels that I'd be paying attention to on IWM. All right, super strong, by the way, very strong. Now, short term, if you want to look at some short term stuff, you want to, you obviously need this back above 262 for it to, start retesting, 265. That's baby stuff though, right? Like that's baby stuff. Like we're trying to catch some big moves. So let's look at some individual stocks. Like what individual stocks are you guys trying to look at? Long, heavy on Tesla, but I ran out of money. SMCI is incredible. I had an amazing earnings, but I'm not going to look at it. Solar is great. I bought a QQQ call 601 already up 20%. I think those are going to cook. Just based on some of the stuff we've seen today. Let's look at Lyft, man. What is Lyft doing? SNDK is making 100 point. Yeah, man. SNDK is incredible. But if you look at Lyft, this needed to hold above 1944. It didn't even. And the thing with Lyft, while they actually do have a deal with Google and Waymo, which I do like. This needs to get back above 1944 before I even, really want to look at it. But we could look at some bounce areas, maybe for a little bit. But other than that, like, I'm not interested. It isn't a bounce area. Like, this is where it should bounce. If it does not bounce here, this is literally at the bottom of the swing low. Okay, so if it can't bounce here, this is basically telling you it's ready to make probably new lows. Okay, so this is actually a very important level for Lyft. It has earnings in 6 days. Okay, and I actually think rideshare and autonomous vehicles, like I actually think that stuff is still very, very in the future, right? Like and this is the thing, if you guys go outside, and this is how you know we're in an AI bubble, like if you actually go outside, what AI stuff do you really see? Like, do you see robots, or do you see the futuristic stuff that people are always talking about on Twitter or Instagram? No, you don't. So you're in an AI bubble. I've been in bubbles before. We were in a bubble like in 2021, and it was the same sort of thing. Same stuff happening. Okay, you don't actually see this stuff. So it's just like when people were saying cars are going to be flying by 2020, back in like 1980 or something. Like, the future is overestimated. Okay, so if we're looking at rideshare, let's just take it at, like, do you actually see that stuff on the street? And the resounding answer should be no, you don't. You do not see that stuff on the street. You don't even see it at all. Matter of fact, the outside doesn't even look futuristic. Like nothing really changed. Maybe some new buildings got built or something, but like nothing really is like, oh yeah, like we're definitely in the future. No, like not yet. Maybe by 2030 or something. So you have to realize, just like the internet, okay? And this is why you got to keep a clear head right now. I'm gonna just put a perspective for you guys. Like, you got to keep a clear head for some of this AI stuff, you gotta really realize that this stuff isn't even coming into fruition just yet. Okay, it's just like the internet back in 2000. Like the internet really became the internet when Instagram and YouTube, like that's when the internet actually became the internet. Right before then, it was like dial up. Like we didn't know. Like, come on, man, it was garbage. Not garbage, but it was high tech back then, but it wasn't as high tech as it is now. Okay, so AI is the same situation. You want to make sure you're getting out in time, because I think on the other side of this is the same thing that happens in every bubble, right? Like, come on now. So keep that in mind. Do not get sucked in. I think there's going to be a lot more bullishness, but that's why there's a reason Palantir is dropping. Like, there's a reason some of these overvalued companies are coming back down to earth. Nvidia, etc. But then you go look at Pepsi, and Pepsi's taking off. Pepsi's going stupid, and a bunch of other stocks like that. But anyways, do we just hold our stocks and wait for it to come back, or take a loss and get into something moving? It depends. Like, there's different plans for different folks. I would definitely get out of like a lot of fluff, right? Like, I would definitely be looking at, like, if I'm investing in, like, Target is amazing. Like, we know Target is great. We know Walmart's great. If you're not in stuff like that where you're actually physically at the thing, like you can physically see it, right? Versus them just making up stuff, then yeah, you probably want to do some research on stuff like that. But anyways, let's look at AI doctors taking over healthcare in the next few years. like people really think like yes, the market's forward looking, but it's not that forward looking. You understand? Like, it's not that forward looking. And even if, like, you'd have a lot of time to be able to get into stuff. Like, it's not just gonna spike up crazy and spike up and keep going and going and going and going and going and going. Like, no, that's what happened to, Comcast. You guys remember Comcast? I think this is just a perspective video, okay? We know what the market, we know the market's great. We know the market's bullish. We know what the market's gonna do, but like, there were some stocks back, and this stock actually did do what it said it was gonna do, right? But there's gonna be an opportunity for a lot of this stuff, okay? Better opportunities. Okay, if you like Iron, you're gonna love it at $4. If you like SMCI, you're gonna love it at $2. I'm just kidding. But yeah, SMCI is actually really good. This is probably one of my favorite stocks right now. We looked at this stock, last live, really back here, and I think this stock is prime time. Okay, it beat earnings by 123%. Like, this thing is absolutely crazy. I'd be looking to long it. This is a good one. It's a good one. It's a good one. Now, if you missed earnings, like you missed this big move, etc. But let's look at some price targets for it. We can see, like, where some rejection zones for it. It actually closed, like, as long as this can close the weekly above 32.68, it can then be ready to start head into new levels. Maybe 34, maybe 36. Okay, but I like it. Hands-on specialty technicians, any of those jobs, yeah, electricians, plumbers. Nah, Nick's taking over those roles. I'm weak. Netflix. Let's look at Netflix. Actually, I don't want to look at Netflix. I want to look at Apple. I don't want to look at Apple. Apple's going to all-time highs. Apple's going to our price target of 300. Let's look at BBAI. Hims is garbage. I would never touch it. I wouldn't even. And that's something that we've been. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I wouldn't touch BBAI until you get a strong close above 660 on a weekly. Okay, this is broken below levels that you want to be wary of at this point. Okay. And this is what I mean, like, stocks like this, like, these aren't, like, if you're buying BBAI equity, you're gonna actually love it in a bear market. That's the good news. You can actually do a lot more due diligence in a bear market for BBAI, because this isn't gonna, it's not like you're gonna get in right here and it's just gonna go up and up and up and up forever. Like, no, this stock was really birthed in an AI bubble, right? Like, so it was birthed in an AI bubble, and it's only a $2 billion market cap. So, you probably get a lot better opportunities on this, but needs about 660 for me to want to, be bullish on it at all. Let's look at Tesla. Tesla, same thing. Okay, a lot of victims, and these are stocks that we talked about. You know, last time we were live, a lot of victims were created at that 426 level. Okay, 426, 427, where we literally told you like this is the level that it needs to hold above. If it gets below there, get out. And literally, if you look at the daily time frame, this is why bigger time frames are very important. You look at the bigger time frame for something like Tesla, and it literally was playing around over here, and then it gave you 2 days where it literally couldn't get back above and rejected twice. And then that's where you got this big red day today. Okay, so TA is very important, especially daily time frames. Um, it is now at a bounce area though, which is 403, which is 403.58. So pay attention to what's going to happen right here. If not, this thing has a very long move to the downside, which lines up with the Qs as well. Okay, so the break below here is 403 and it gets to 374 on the Qs. If we get a break below 602 it is to 588, right? If it breaks below 602 on the Qs, you're getting it to 588. So a lot of stocks have a lot of drop off period if we start actually going below 602, because it's nothing but free land. It's nothing but free range. You understand? But I will come in here and shed some hope. We do need some hope. Maybe somebody's in a bunch of calls or something. Maybe somebody got some weekly calls this week. Like we don't we don't know. We don't know everybody's situation. So we will come in here and not just say everything's bearish, because everything's not bearish. If you're in the Discord, we got some Airbnb calls for like 70% today. There's some longer term positions that we're in, but other than that, it's good. Like the volatility is there, so you're able to catch plays daily. Like that's like some of you guys remember Christmas. Christmas was garbage, no volatility. But anyways, if you look at the weekly and what's been transpiring, for the past like what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks, all we've been doing is staying in this range. Okay. And right now we're at the bottom of the range. Okay, last time it was at the bottom of this range, you got this quick buy up candles. Last time it was at the bottom of the range, you got a quick buy up candle back inside of it. Same right here, same right here. So it's been staying in this range. Okay, you got it down here, and then wicked above last week, came back inside of here and closed. So I wouldn't be too surprised if this just goes back up and closes at 613, or 612, right? Because we've been inside of a range for like 2-3 months now, since Thanksgiving. We've been in a Thanksgiving until Valentine's Day range. Okay, so people are getting very bearish, people are getting very bullish, but really we've just been in a range. You understand? Anyways, somebody said SHIB bonk. I'm not looking at SHIB and bonk. I'm not looking at SHIB and bonk, but you close out all your crypto. No, I'm going to zero. But I do like target. It has to have a daily close below those levels. Yeah, I'd always be looking for daily, and that's just the way I like to do stuff. I mean, there's a lot of different strategies, but yeah, if I wanted to make sure something was bearish, I'd look how it closed on the daily and the weekly, and then I play from there. Like a lot of people knew we were bearish heading into today because of what we did closing out, last week, yesterday on daily, which it lined up. But anyways, if you look at the target, I actually think target is prime time. This is a prime time, a prime time, a prime time, and we got shares on this in the Discord, but this is a prime time play, okay? And this is what I mean. There's value plays out there. You just gotta look. You just have to look, okay? And Target looks like it's ready to absolutely go crazy, and it's looking like it's about to break out from, it's looking like it's about to break out from this huge, look, man, I would call this, I'm not gonna say it's a bull flag, but I would say this is a huge range breakout, and the first target is the 141, second target is the 189. So people forget Target can fly. Okay, this is a 40 billion or 50 billion dollar market cap stock, right? Walmart is at 1 trillion. Now I'm not comparing Target to Walmart, but it's the closest store. Think about it. Besides like Costco, like an actual store, an actual like Costco doesn't sell toys or sell like Paw Patrol. Like Costco don't sell no Paw Patrol. Not that I've seen. Walmart and Target do, right? Major retail stores, okay? And Walmart's at 1 trillion, Target's at 50 billion, okay? So it's just no brainers like that to where it's like, oh yeah, like that makes sense. HBQ is better than Target. Last live I said UPS. You definitely did. UPS been cooking. Mex actually got into UPS, before you. No, yeah. He got into UPS when it broke it in. Yeah, he running up some UPS leaps at what 271% on some leaps on UPS. But yeah, UPS was a good one. HBQ, I'm. It looks good right here. Okay, it looks very good right here. Hidden monthly divergence. It might be bottoming out just looking at the data that we've seen, right? Like this isn't a huge uptrend. It always makes these higher lows and higher highs, right? So I actually like it. I like it. Could be a good long term play. What is it? 18 billion market cap, earnings in 20 days. New CEO. It looks like. Yeah, it looks like some good stuff's happening for it. Okay, I like it. Do you think energy stocks are the best sector right now? I do, but I also think some of these software companies are good as well. And my phone's at 1%, so if it cuts off, that is why. Okay, my phone's at 1%. I also think some of these software companies are good because what's happening right now is that AI is getting overestimated, like this whole cycle's been, and people are forgetting that AI enhances some AI enhance AI can enhance these software companies. Okay, it's not that everything's gonna get swallowed up necessarily, if that makes sense. So Adobe did great today, but I still think Adobe can get to $50. I just think a lot of these stocks are due for a bounce, like CRM. Like there's some good stocks, but if you want to ensure you make some money, energy I believe is definitely the go to. I mean, run these charts just look. This chart just looks absolutely incredible. Like run, NEE. Um, I mean Hershey even looks good. Like I even like Hershey stock. Hershey looks great, right? But Hershey, I think, has earnings tomorrow, but it still looks great. Pepsi, which we talked about, BA. A lot of people are sleeping on BA. Those are like these all look great. Okay, look very very good. So there's a lot of good stocks. Money is getting rotated. Okay, it's getting rotated into these stocks that we talked about today, and to take advantage of them, you just need to stay in the know, and you can stay in the know by watching these these lives. AI is software. Yeah, yeah, obviously. Yes, yes, yes. But people think software is going to become obsolete because of AI, if that makes sense. Like they think what's a good example? I don't know. Like I don't know, bro. Bloom Energy, Coke, lots of ripping stuff. Yeah, look at MMM. But yeah, great night tonight, guy. You were talking about MMM too. Dang, I wish I got into this. Yeah, this one looks like it's ready to go. This one actually definitely looks like it's ready to go. But yeah, stuff like this, like the real deal spiel stocks. Okay, the stocks that didn't have any love in 2025 look like they're gonna get a whole lot of love now as money rotates. If that makes sense. Nike, this monthly chart on Nike looks absolutely insane. Nike, Target, Disney, BA, energy, like stocks that actually do some stocks that people are realizing that they want stocks that actually have revenue now. Like stock like like people are investing in the OKLO and they're not gonna put in any revenue until like 2030 or something. They don't even have a product. You understand? So money's flowing out of there and into these type of things like Home Depot. Like stuff like that. Okay, if you're bullish. Now, if you're bearish, there's some very good short opportunities as well. All right, but I'm big bull, and that's how I like to roll. But anyways, appreciate you guys for tuning in. Check out the Discord if you haven't. Everything is linked in the bio. You're able to get Airbnb calls where we cooked up 77% and a bunch of other things that happen in here as well. Okay, there's a lot of people making a lot of money, a lot of great things happening in here, and we'll catch you later. I'm out. Peace.